Shame is the heaviest and densest emotional energy there is, and it's also the easiest to recognize. Sometimes it shows up as the shameless, narcissistic grandstander, the bully, the bragger, the performer, projecting their shame outward. And sometimes it shows up as the quiet one, dragging their shame around like a ball and chain, stuffing everything down and living in fear of being exposed. Same route, different strategy. In both cases, the ego is in charge. John Bradshaw said, "The ego is to the true self what a flashlight is to a spotlight." But the real question is, what is the true self? It's not perfection. It's not goodness. It's not moral performance. It's wholeness. It's the ability to acknowledge your own demons, including and especially shame, and integrate them into your character instead of pretending they aren't there. One of the healthiest ways to do that is with humour. Not mockery, not avoidance, but honest, self-aware humour that dissolves false identity and restores proportion. Because shame doesn't dissolve through denial, it dissolves through consciousness. Shame rarely announces itself, but you can recognize it by the patterns it creates. Over-explaining, blame shifting, the need to be right, a compulsion to compete. Hunger for validation through appearance, status, intelligence, money, success, talent, or identity. All of it is overcompensation for the same internal state: emptiness, insecurity, and disconnection. At its core, shame produces contempt for the self and then for others. And this is where the distinction matters. Healthy shame says, "I made a mistake." Toxic shame says, "I am a mistake." Healthy shame teaches. Toxic shame distorts identity. One corrects behaviour, the other collapses the self. And when identity collapses, people either dominate or disappear. Both are fear responses. Both are shame strategies. Dignity isn't confidence. Confidence is situational. Dignity is structural. It's the internal decision of, I don't abandon myself to belong. Composure is what dignity looks like under pressure, not emotional suppression, emotional authorship. And finesse? Finesse is knowing when not to react, when not to correct, and when silence does the heavy lifting. Shame is blunt. Finesse is economical. You don't need to dominate the room when you're not fighting yourself inside it. Imagine a beautifully made jacket. From the outside, it looks effortless. But inside, every seam has been placed with intention. Shame is like tugging at those loose threads in public. Dignity is knowing the structure holds, even if no one sees it. Composure isn't stiffness, it's trust in the stitching. Finesse is not pulling when something catches. It's adjusting without tearing the whole garment. You don't need to get rid of shame. You just need to stop letting it drive. You might notice moments where you pause instead of apologizing. You breathe instead of performing. You choose timing over urgency. And each time you do, dignity quietly returns to its seat. No announcement, no confrontation, just presence. And as you sit with this, you may find that dignity isn't something you put on. It's something that settles when you stop leaning away from yourself. And that calm, that steadiness, that subtle ease, that's composure, remembering its place.